What's going on, everyone? Welcome back to Connor's Comic Con. Today we're going to be talking about Flashpoint and exactly what Flashpoint is and how Flashpoint is going to affect the other DCCW shows. Before I start, there will be spoilers from The Flash Season 3 Episode 1, Arrow Season 3 Episode 1, the continuations of Legends of Tomorrow Season 2, Supergirl Season 2, and also spoilers from Flash Season 2, Arrow Season 4, Legends of Tomorrow Season 1, and Supergirl Season 1. First of all, what exactly is Flashpoint? Flashpoint is a series that debuted in 2011, which was basically the end of that age of comics and bringing them into the new era, which was the New 52. Flashpoint was basically an alternate reality created by Eobard Thawne, where the Justice League was never formed, so a lot of things in the world had changed. Barry is then there, and he remembers stuff from the world which he knows and now the world that he's in. So such changes as Batman being Thomas Wayne after his mother, after Bruce is murdered and his mother becomes the Joker. Superman is captured as a baby. The Amazons and the citizens of Atlantis are at war with each other, and some of the villains are good, like Captain Cold is now Citizen Cold. Basically, this is a way to move into the New 52, and this long-running issue is one of the best DC issues out, and story arcs, and then that's where Flash Season 3's premiere takes its standpoint from, after Barry runs back in time to try and save his father. And in the comics, Barry's mum, finds that his mum's actually alive and didn't die, but his dad did die instead of being killed in prison. So to understand Flashpoint from a DCCWverse point of view, we have to go back to the ending of Season 2. So in the second last episode of Flash, in the last scene, Barry's dad dies at the hands of Zoom, and then basically the whole last episode is Barry defeating Zoom and dealing with the mourning of his death, or his father's death. And then Season 3 begins with us jumping 5 months ahead to Barry living a normal life in Central City, but everything's different. He's no longer counted as the Flash, as another Flash. Kid Flash, who was Wally West, fighting the new Flash villain, who was the Rival. Barry's never went and lived with the Wests, so he's only friends with Iris back from when they were in primary school, and then he's still living, his parents are alive and he's living with them. And it's just completely different from the normal storyline. Barry is happy now, but then he soon starts to realize that parts of his memory are disappearing when he recalls certain things. This is later found out to be from if he continues to use his speed. He's told this by Eobard Thawne, who is locked up after he basically stops him from killing his mother at the end of the last episode of Season 2. As the effects become more prominent on Barry, starts to forget who he is and forgets to begin that he is actually even the Flash. They quickly get Eobard's help, and Eobard goes and kills Barry's mum, then takes him back to the normal timeline, but things aren't right, and Eobard says that you've changed it, but Barry doesn't understand, and he goes in, he's greeted by Joe and Wally, and then asks where Iris is, and then Joe kind of goes off at him a bit, and then Wally tells him that they haven't talked in a while. And in the promo for the second episode, Paradox, we start to see some of those changes. Caitlin is displaying her powers, her frost powers. Cisco is in kind of like a rehab thing, which is probably the exposure of his vibe powers maybe becoming too strong and him using drugs to combat that. Harry seems maybe a bit more happy and joyous, but this is kind of strange. I'm wondering how the effects will happen on Earth 2, because we see Earth 3's Jay Garrick come back and explain to him that how he's kind of screwed this up. But what will Flashpoint be? How will it affect everything else? Uh, this is most likely going to be seen in the 100th episode of Arrow, and probably throughout the series of Arrow. There won't be a lot of changes, but it will affect it in different ways. A lot of it won't be displayed yet, but happen later on, maybe with Laurel still being alive. The showrunners of it revealed that Laurel will actually be alive in season 5, but that's probably one of the changes, and we don't know how that's going to take effect. As well, Legends of Tomorrow will maybe have drastic changes in it. I'm not sure how it will occur, but it will be something to maybe do with the team or the team's dynamics, as well as when they return back, things are completely different, especially in Central City. But my issue is with Supergirl. What's going to happen with Supergirl? Flash was only connected by Supergirl in the last season when he crossed over in that one episode. That was for him running, and we assume he maybe went to Earth 4 or something, seeing that Flash isn't around in Earth 3 or Earth 2, which wouldn't make kind of sense. But how will it affect Supergirl? I'm not actually sure, but things may come into play during the the crossover event. The main thing that's going to come out of Flashpoint is that everything is going to change now. From now on, there's no way of Barry changing what he has done. The Flash team dynamics is going to be completely different from how he has done it before, and he's just going to have to live with it. But we will not know what's going to be coming up because everything is now not set in stone, everything is different, and that kind of relates to Legends, the Time Masters being no more. Time is not running at a set pace, it's now completely different and anything can happen. So that's kind of like what it was all basically kind of leading to Flashpoint and all working with Flashpoint. So that's kind of what Flashpoint is going to be now, and that's what it kind of means for the DCCWverse, that everything is going to be different. We may see characters come back from the dead, we may have new characters introduced to the teams, like as when Barry in season 2 went back and tried to stop Eobard Thawne at first, being when he was Harrison Wells, and then Pied Piper was then not a villain but a friend. It's basically going to be more of that with a lot more characters, and hopefully we'll get some new heroes such as Jesse Quick, who is Harry's son, the Earth 2 version, and we see that she now has her Speed Force powers have become apparent or there, and then hopefully we get Kid Flash returning from Flashpoint and have him in the suit again. But that is basically all for this video. Flashpoint is going to be a big change for the DCCWverse, and hopefully it works out. All these characters are going to just have to, well, basically live with, well, it's mainly Barry's just going to have to live with the changes of what he has done. So before I go, I just want to tell you I'll be adding a couple new shows to Connor's Comic Corner. Been toying around with some ideas and just letting people know that I won't be uploading regularly. My last video was back when Batman vs Superman came out, which was 6 months ago, and it's basically going to be like that. I'll upload when I feel like it or when I get the opportunity. It's not going to be a set thing, but I will be having some new shows, like I said, coming up. So one will be a top 5 show. I might, and then I'll kind of do maybe top 5 comics, top 5 characters. Another one will be a kind of, I haven't thought of a name of it, but I'll look back at kind of classic shows and to kind of, well, shows that have been cancelled or shows that had a limited amount of episodes but were actually really good quality and that you should check out. I'll also be getting into the comic reviews. Probably maybe do some Rebirth or have a look at the older comics. So do some Marvel ones, maybe have a look at the Dark Phoenix saga, Civil War, or maybe DC, maybe do some classic Batman stories such as Hush. And then another one we're doing later, which is one that I'm going to have to work a bit more on, but I'm thinking of calling it Table Talk, where I'll get someone and have kind of a one-on-one discussion about a certain topic. That should be fun, and hopefully it all works out. Also, I want to know what you think what will be happening in Flashpoint. I have a feeling that we're going to get a lot of new characters, new story plots, and also what villains will be coming up. So, the Dr. Alchemy and probably the Rival returning. But I also want to hear what you guys have to think about Flashpoint. So that's basically it. I will see you all later.